Alrighty everyone, here we are. It is now December 29th of 2020. We are in the final days of this year before we move on to 2021, a new beginning, a new start for the Star Wars universe moving ahead. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of fans have been very frustrated over for the past couple of years is Kathleen Kennedy's stance on Star Wars and her treatment of the character of Luke Skywalker, especially in The Last Jedi, and how she ultimately allowed Rian Johnson to have full creative control over the use of that character. It always mind-boggled me. I mean, if you guys like Rian Johnson, hey, I mean, that's all fine. Everybody's open to their own opinion. It's all about being human, right? But there's no doubt about it that I think that it was a very poor decision to have an independent filmmaker such as Rian Johnson, who, by the way, only worked on a handful of films at the time. His biggest known film at the time was Looper. And coming into The Last Jedi, a Star Wars film of all things, like a major blockbuster type movie, coming on board to that and allowing somebody like that to take care of Luke, like literally the character that served as the overall structure of the sequel trilogy, since The Force Awakens was all about finding Luke. But I digress. What's really intriguing all has to do with Kathleen Kennedy and what's going on with her stance on the character of Luke Skywalker by Jon Favreau. Now, Jon Favreau, mind you, is a man who truly saved Star Wars. I mean, it's quite amazing that he also started the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Iron Man 1 back in 2008, and now he's doing it again, you know, pretty much restarting Star Wars with The Mandalorian Season 2 in 2020. So, with that being said, of course, given that The Mandalorian, alright, Season 2 is now over, Disney and Lucasfilm have been focused on their new Star Wars projects for the new universe. It's described that behind the scenes, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is jealous over Jon Favreau's version of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 2 finale, and that Kennedy wants to end the concept of Luke Skywalker done by both Favreau and Filoni. Though Kathleen Kennedy is only in charge of Star Wars The Acolyte, Kathleen Kennedy has been trying to convince the Disney CEO Bob Chapek to stop Favreau and Filoni's version of Luke Skywalker from happening again in the new universe projects. Bob Chapek, however, refused Kathleen Kennedy's demands, given that she no longer has any creative power over the existing Star Wars projects, except for The Acolyte. Now, Kennedy is best described to have major problems with this version of Luke, seeing it as a message that her films and her versions of Luke were terrible, in which honestly they were, in my opinion, for the fans, and that she is getting offended over the hyped praise of Luke's return. Kathleen Kennedy wants John's version of Luke cancelled from the new projects. However, Bob Chapek is not allowing Kennedy's demands to happen, thankfully. Now, let's stop right here for 1 second. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is a person at the end of the day who really comes off as somebody who just does not like the Star Wars fans. I'll never forget it when I was in the theater watching The Last Jedi, coming out of the theater and just seeing all the fans walking out looking disappointed or talking to either, you know, their girlfriend or their friend or their family member, whatever, right? All expressing their big letdown of how they felt about Luke. And that was such a heartbreaking moment to actually witness all these fans coming out of the theater having problems with how Luke died, with how Luke was treated for a majority of the film, and most of all, how we never really got to see the version of Luke that Jon Favreau was able to establish. Even in the flashbacks that Rian Johnson gave us in The Last Jedi, he made Luke Skywalker into a psychopath, you know. So, like I've said, I think that when we look at everything of what Kathleen Kennedy has structured within the sequel trilogy, it was all done very poorly. It was very much unplanned. It was not well received by the fans, and that's a given. It's as if Kathleen Kennedy is trying to deny the truth and that she's lying to herself to kind of just brush everything off. Now, Luke in The Mandalorian Season 2 is the type of Luke that fans at the very least, just wanted 2 minutes of in The Last Jedi. But they couldn't even do that, right? So, The Last Jedi, like I say, they could have done so much more. As I've always suggested, they could have done something as simple as Luke agreeing to go with Rey, to go on board of the Falcon, leave with her, go to Snoke, and have Luke fight Snoke while Kylo fights Rey within the throne room. That would have been more than enough for the fans to enjoy, and could have literally saved and prevented the mess that is The Last Jedi. There's no doubt about that. So, Rian Johnson, like I say, I mean, I always found it very strange as to why Kathleen Kennedy, of all people, is the one to allow Rian Johnson to have a new trilogy before the movie even came out in theaters in December of 2017. You know, Rian Johnson got his trilogy in November of 2017, a month and a half or so before The Last Jedi even dropped in theaters. So like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.